हरि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा विनोद राधे, जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे, जय राधा मुरलीधर राधे, जय राधा रमण राधे, जय राधा गंधर्व कृष्ण राधे, जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ, जय 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 जगन्नाथ, जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा, जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा, जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम, कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बल, जय वृंदावन धाम जय वृंदावन धाम, वृंदावन धाम जय वृंदावन, जय गौरनिता जय गौरनिता, गौरनिता जय गौरनि, जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद, जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव गुरुदेव, जय जय गुरुदेव। जय विष्णु परम सुप्रतिकार स्तोत्र सदा समश्री भक्ति प्रपात महाराज, इस्कॉन संतप का जय श्री प्रपात महाराज के, कृष्ण कृपा मत श्री प्रपात महाराज के, जगत गुरु श्री प्रपात महाराज के, जय विष्णु परम सुप्रतिकार स्तोत्र सदा समश्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज के, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद के नमः श्री ठाकुर प्रेम से जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय, मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय, जगन्नाथपुरी द्वारका धाम की जय, गंगे में यमुना माई की जय, तुलसी भक्ति देव की जय, समवेत गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेट बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to all glories Shri Guru Shri Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So welcome to all devotees for today's Shrimad Bhagavatam class, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So we are today reading from Canto 3, Chapter 7 and text 30 to 33. Hare Krishna. So I'll start with my prayers. Om Agnana Timrandasya Gnananjana Shalaka Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Dukkadamahyam Dadasi Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sagana Raghunatha Tanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Dev Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya He Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavane Shubharasute Devi Prabha. Vanchakalpatarubhasha Kripa Sindhubhyo Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayat Nashtapraya Shabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Yeah, so we are taking from this shloka 3.7.30. Yagnasya cha vitanani yogasya cha patha prabho naishkarmyasya cha sankyasya tantram va bhagavat smritam. Yagnasya cha vitanani yogasya cha patha prabho naishkarmyasya cha sankyasya tantram va bhagavat smritam. Yagnasya cha vitanani yogasya cha patha prabho naishkarmyasya cha Sankyasya tantram va bhagavat smritam. Word by word meaning. Translation. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yagnasya of sacrifices. Cha also. Vitanani expansions. Yogasya of the mystic powers. Cha also. Pataha ways. Prabho. O my Lord. Naishkarmyasya of knowledge. Cha and Sankyasya of analytical studies. Tantram the path of devotional service. Va, as well as Bhagavat in relation to the personality of Godhead. Smritam, regulative principles. Translation. Please also describe the expansions of different sacrifices and the paths of mystic powers and literal study of knowledge and devotional service, all with their respective regulations. Purport. So any of the devotee can read the purport. We're in the queue.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The word Tantram is significant herein. Sometimes Tantram is misunderstood to be the black spiritual science of materialistic persons engaged in sense gratification. But here Tantram means the science of devotional service compiled by Srila Narada Muni. One can take advantage of such regulative explanations of the path of devotional service and make progressive advancement in the devotional service of the Lord. Sankhya philosophy is the basic principle of acquiring knowledge, as will be explained by the sage Maitreya. The Sankhya philosophy, enunciated by Kapila Deva, the son of Devahuti, is the real source of knowledge about the supreme truth. Knowledge not based on the Sankhya philosophy is mental speculation and can yield no tangible profit. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Om Agnanti Maradasya Gnananjana Shalaka Chakshan Viltamina Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha. So here in this chapter where Vidura is asking some more questions to Maitreya Muni, and as you know, Maitreya Muni is a very respected scholar, very respected devotee of the Lord, and he had heard while the Naimisharya, when the sages were reciting, so he had assembled there Shukashanadi Munis, and there he had heard and he had assimilated the entire knowledge of the Bhagavatam. And when Vidura was supposed to have met Uddhava, then it was told that, you will go and meet Maitreya and you listen from him. So he had to come to Haridwar. And in Haridwar, he met Maitreya Muni on the banks of river Ganges. And then he started reciting from him the Bhagavatam. So like this, it's a continuation of so many incidents. And each one of the inquirer or the devotee of the Lord, is want to explore about the Lord's, he's not satisfied by, although he has knowledge. Vidura was, of course, a devotee of the Lord, and he had a great faith, and he had darshan of the Lord. He knew who Krishna was. He had a lot of interactions. He had served Krishna. Despite all that, he still had a lot of questions in his mind and clarification, and he wanted to get that answer from the exalted devotees of the Lord. So that is actually required. The inquiry is required, and assimilation. So tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashneya sevaya upadekshantite gnanam gnanina tattvadarshina. As Bhagavad Gita says, that you have to seek knowledge from the learned sources already who are acquired in the knowledge. You have to seek from them. Always you have to keep inquiring. Pariprashnena. So pariprashnena means in a very, very humble mood. You have to inquire from the senior devotees. I mean, it is also for the guru, mentioned for the guru as well, from your Diksha guru or the Siksha gurus. You have to inquire about so because the ocean, the knowledge of bhakti or the divine world or the spiritual realm is so vast that it's not possible to imagine in our tiny mind. Actually, Shastra says that the material world is just 1/4 of the total creation. So that 3/4 is actually spiritual world. So you can just imagine in the 1/4 itself, how much millions and millions of kilometers the universe is spread. And now scientists are telling, this planet, Pluto planet, beyond Pluto, there is so many other, Milky Way, galaxies, so many information they are trying to collect, and then they are trying to give. But our Shastras has already mentioned, has given us how these, the so many Brahmandas are, there in this material world. Ananta Koti Brahmandas are there. We are just in one of the Brahmandas, which is actually this material world where Earth is there, which is the 14 planetary systems, which we are now residing in this Bhuloka. So you can just imagine how vast the creation is and how tiny our presence is, this Bhuloka. And within that Bhuloka, which is spread into so much of millions of kilometers, how tiny we as a jiva are. So like this, which is a very vast science. And then in order to understand the Lord's creation, the Lord's attributes, the Lord's Leela, the Lord's various potencies, opulences, we just need to keep inquiring. One is that we have to also listen, Shravanam and Kirtanam. Shravanam and Kirtanam. So this has to go on, of course, with the Smaranam, with the remembrance. So this keeps going on, and as much as that we do, the more perfect or the more purified we can become. So this is the way Vidura is showing us the way. And of course, Vidura, as you know, is an incarnation of Yamaraj, who is one of the Mahajana. Among the 12 Mahajanas, Yamaraj is one of them. So he is already a learned devotee, but still, for the benefit of all the devotees like us, the inquirers or the sadhakas like us, so he is giving us this knowledge. So in that context, there are so many questions which are being asked, and he is taking it from the learned personality. So tadvidhi means follow the regulative principles, whatever is laid as per the Shastras. Tadvidhi pranipatena, with total utter surrender unto that guru or unto that learned personality or the senior Vaishnava. Pariprashnena sevaya. You have to do the questioning in such a very humble way that you want to gain knowledge, not challenge the guru or not try to contradict them or not try to be fiddle. Of course, it's not going to happen that way, but still some people or might be curious to just extract some information and then try to hold them responsible for what they uttered. Some people are there like that, envious people. So we should not be in that mood. We should be in a very, very humble mood, just to seek knowledge, gain knowledge, and assimilate that in our life, use that in our life. That should be the pariprashna. And sevaya, and you do the seva, the manual seva, the vapu seva, which is called to the spiritual body of the person, and also vani seva, which is actually the recorded messages, audio messages, or some lectures the previous talks or instructions by the guru or by the senior devotees, you should be able to listen to that. You should also, keep meditating upon what the talk of the personality was, and then how we can implement in your life, or how you can make best use of that instruction. So like this is what you have to do. Then upadekshanti te gnanam. So then he will give the knowledge. They will give us that knowledge. They can, shower us that knowledge, that intelligence. Te gnanam. Because why? They are gnaninas tattva darshana. Because they're already gnani. They're already learned soul. They're mahatmas. And they can only, position to give that knowledge. I mean, from whom they have received? Obviously, from their guru, from their spiritual master. And if you go back, the parampara, it will ultimately land with Krishna, because Krishna has given that instruction through Bhagavad Gita, through various Shaktavesh Avatara, like Vyasdev was a Shaktavesh Avatara, where he was given that embodied with that power of literary incarnation. So he's called the literary incarnation. So he can produce all the literature. He can classify, compile literature, and he can give that shastras in a very, very simplified form to all the future people. So that was the intention. So like that, if you go back, it is ultimately coming from Krishna. So that knowledge you have to receive. Why? Because he is Tattva Darshinaha. He's already has seen the absolute truth. He knows already he's realized the absolute truth. So from such person, you have to get the knowledge. That is a perfect knowledge. And we are very fortunate to be in the this ISKCON, in this Sampradaya, Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Krishna in the form of a devotee. And then he taught us that Achintya, Bheda, Abheda, Tattva. That is Achintya, inconceivable oneness, and at the same simultaneous different nature of this soul and the soul's experience with the super soul. So this is what is the tattva. It's completely inconceivable. That kind of a tattva he gave, and he gave the example of the gold particle and the gold mine. What is there? The gold mine is such a huge lump of gold is there. It actually the same as the particle of the gold. Even if you make some ornaments, that particle remains the same. It's only a small particle, but the quality, the characteristics, the attributes of that gold particle is the same as that of the gold mine. Chemically composition, if you see, it will contain the same elements which is there in the gold. But only thing is, the difference is, since it is the simultaneous characteristics, attributes are there, it is called oneness, achintya. Achintya is inconceivable. Oneness, it's the same, the gold mine and the gold particle. But at the same time, it is different. Why it is different? Because the gold mine is a huge, large area. The quantity is more, and where the particle is having a less quantity. So the quality is the same, but quantity is huge difference. It's very, very large difference is there. Similarly, like how the Atma and the Paramatma. Atma has all the qualities of the Satchidananda, but in a very, very minute percentage, Sat Chit Ananda. Whereas the Lord has unlimited potency, unlimited attributes of Sat Chit Ananda. So like this, we just need to understand this is the way. Only then we can, get to know the knowledge, assimilate, and we can use that, adapt that in our life. Otherwise, with incomplete knowledge, with a lot of doubts, with a lot of inhibitions, we may not be able to progress. So we should always hear from devotees, from acharyas, from Prabhupada, and from Parampara, many of these sannyasis, and then we have to inquire. If you have a doubt, you should immediately. If you don't inquire, then you'll actually be losing. So that's why when any questions are asked, even the school, we keep hearing from the teacher saying that if you some people are afraid to ask question, or some people feel little shy. So many inhibitions are there. They don't ask, and that way they deprive themselves of the knowledge. So that's why it is said that it is better to remain a fool for a day or for a moment than to remain a fool forever. So very, very apt that if you suppose when you are getting a doubt, if you don't ask the question just because of your own perception, and if you then what it happens, that you will remain a fool forever because you're not getting the knowledge. But it doesn't matter if you ask a question, you remain a fool for that moment. Some people may question, may laugh at your question, may may taunt you, may try to criticize you. So many things they will do, but doesn't matter. At least you have asked that question, you have clarified your doubt, and then you are in a better position than remaining a fool forever. So that way, it's all very, 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 very tiny instructions, the tiny lessons what the great personalities in Bhagavatam they are teaching us, the humbleness, their meek surrender. Everything is evident in Vidura's case, and the inquiries are so wonderful. I mean, in the sense, so relatable to each other. So many questions he has asked in this. Now we are in the 30th text, but in between, about 15 to 20 questions have been asked. For example, he's asking that one question that in the 26th, "O son of Mitra." Maitreya, referring to Maitreya, kindly describe how the planets are situated above the earth as well as the underneath it, and also please mention their measurement as well as that of the earthly planets. So this is all about astronomy. All these how the planets are there, how they're situated, how the rotation happens, what all the what is the vegetation there, or whether it has life there. Of course, each, as Prabhupada says, each and every planet has a life. For example, even moon also, Prabhupada has mentioned very clearly that moon, there is life. Each and every planet, there is life. But unfortunately, today's scientists are all talking nonsense, rubbish, and they are telling that moon has only dust, like that. And then they show only the the studio pictures or animated pictures. Even when they went to the Chandrayaan, the 3, recently, the rover Vikrant, and they went, Vikram and yeah, they landed in the moon. I mean, it is just that it's all animated. There is nothing. I mean, they just showed in the countdown. The countdown anybody can show on the TV. You just put the countdown and say that, yeah, 15, 14, 14, 13, 12. So there's the timer is there, and you can show that, and some behind there is some picture and some video of some animation, and that's it. And say that, oh, we have landed. So like that, it is, it's very, very vague and so confusing that the way the things are being depicted, because scientists cannot accept, because of their tiny mind or foolish mind, they cannot accept the spirituality. They cannot accept the superiority of the Lord. They cannot accept, the personality of the Lord. They cannot accept that we are under control. This is a problem. They don't want to be under anyone's control. But actually, they are totally under control of Maya. But they don't want to accept anything divine, and they suffer. And because they are trying to avoid the spiritual nature of the Lord, the potencies, so they get swayed by the Maya and talk all argumentative, some of their own philosophy, and they say, this is the science is what we are following, what we are giving is right, and they stick on to that, and actually they fall down. So this is the Kali Yuga Mahatma which is going on, and it's going to be worse down the period, because there is no acceptance of the spiritual nature. So they will languish in this material world, because ultimately at the end of the day, it is all Mrityu Loka. What we are living in Bhuloka is just, it's just a place of misery, place of death, nothing else. There is no question of eternal living, eternal happiness, because this is not Vaikuntha. The opposite characteristics of Vaikuntha is are presiding here. So obviously, how you will get? It is like going to a mental hospital and then finding out peace, happiness. Is it possible? If you are in a mental asylum, how can you get peace and happiness there? It is not possible. The more the patients you try to meet, the more mental you will become, because the way that is the nature there. So we have to be very careful which place, what we are situated, and how to come out of that the bad situation. So like this. And then next question, also please describe the living beings under different classifications: subhumans, humans, those born of the embryo, those born of perspiration, those who are twice born, birds, and the plants.
Prabhu, you are on mute, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, you are on mute.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
some, so maybe it was not was halting the audio. So like
Yeah.
this, there are so many classifications that today's scientists, modern day people are doing. But ultimately, everything, all these inquiries have already been done by the sages and by these exalted devotees, and all the answers have been given in various scriptures forms. It is already there, but it is only unfortunate that we are getting carried away by today's a materialistic world, materialistic people, and just doing the the chewing the chewed already what is chewed, and again we are trying to chew, and then out of the saliva you are trying to get the taste or the juice of it, but actually there is no juice, it's only your saliva. So what is the use? It's of no use. The efforts what you are putting, shrama eva hi kevalam, as Bhagavatam says, that whatever efforts you are putting, it is just going to be waste unless you come to the spiritual platform and use your energy for the spiritual purpose. Atato brahma jignasa, that we do this spiritual inquiry, that this is the time now to inquire and get the knowledge. Then only we can proceed further, we can progress. Otherwise, we are going to suffer and struggle in this material world. So now coming back to this question number 30, text 30, please also describe the expansions of different sacrifices, the paths of mystic powers, analytical study of knowledge, devotional service, all with their respective regulations. So the Vidura is asking very specifically, and what are the different avenues on which, how I can link to the Lord, how I can, where I can get the connection, the yoga, the various yogas he's asking here. Different sacrifices. Of course, sacrifices is the yajnas. With the yajnas only, we can link to the Lord. We can actually please the Lord, please the demigods. It's very, very important that we do that. Yajnartat karmane anyatra, loko ayam karma bandhana. Tadartha karma kauntaya. So as Mukta Sangha Samachara, as in the third chapter, it is very clearly said, Yagnartat karmano anyatra. If you are doing yajna, sacrifice for anybody else other than Yagna Purusha, Yagneshwara, Krishna, it all will lead to bondage. Not Lokoyam karma bandhana. You will get into this karma, entanglement of karma. That is a law of papa, punya, and all these things. And you pious deeds and bad deeds, and you will suffer. This is a material entanglement. Tadartham karma konteya. That's why I'm telling you, konteya, that you simply do the sacrifice to me. It should be meant to me. And then what happens? Mukta Sangha Samachara. You'll be relieved, you'll be liberated because of this association. And this job, what you're doing, the yajna, sacrifice unto me, and all oblations unto all the respective demigods, that will be the perfectly job done. Samachara. It's a perfect job. So that's what Krishna is mentioning in the third chapter. So like that, we get so many instructions from the Lord. And here he is asking, what is that? What sacrifice I have to do? So again, Bhagavan is telling amongst all the yogas, he says in the 6th chapter that yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate omam teme yuktatamo mataha. The last, finally, in the 6th chapter, he says that yoginam, amongst all the yogis, who is the perfect yogi? One who is doing shraddhavan bhajate mam. With all faith and with all dedication, he is doing bhajane. He is doing my aradhana. He is doing my worship. He is the perfect. He is the one who is going to perfect, and he will actually get relieved from all these difficult situations of this material bodily relationship, and he can come back to me. So he is the perfect yogi, is what Krishna says. So that is the ultimate verdict what Lord is giving in the 6th chapter, at the end of that chapter. So like this, and then finally he's asking, what is that path of mystic powers? The mystic powers is actually the siddhis, what you call by doing so many meditation and by having some practices like Ashtanga yoga or some meditative practices, they will acquire some siddhi. For example, if you, in fact, a few years back, about 8 to 10 years back, when I had gone to Allahabad, the Prayag, there is a Prayag, the confluence of all the 3 rivers, Saraswati, Kaveri, Saraswati, Gange, and Jamuna. So there, when you are going on the river while going the boat from that our ISKCON temple to this confluence, Prayag, where Triveni Sangam is there, and on the sides you will see so many, like a hilly region, the rocks and mountains, and then we can see so many people. They are doing, this for the departed soul with the bodies. You'll not believe the dead bodies. They are doing so many acts. They're trying to invoke that jiva, or they are trying to maybe give some benediction, some kind of a thing, some activity, that mystic activity there, and people are there who believe and then do such things. They go under that path, like Prabhupada says here, the tantra, black magic. So like that, there are so many there are so many yogis are there who can bring back life, or who can give some extraordinary powers through that departed soul. Like this, we don't know, but there are like this yogis and there's siddhas who are trying to do this. And then we can see even the Naga Babas. We have heard about them, how they are so powerful, how they can remain without food, without water for so many days, and we don't know where they live. But during the every 12 years, when the Kumbh Mela happens, lakhs and people are assembling in this Kashi, Varanasi, Prayag, like that. So these are all devotees. They are all, of course, devotees in their own way, having a lot of devotional path, bhakti, shraddha. But it's in their own path they are doing it, and they are attaining that siddhi. Like we also know one South Indian today, he's become a very big guru, Sadguru, and he's a lot of millions and millions of people are following. And he was just a normal person doing some degree and during his college days. And one day he said in his biography, and his many of the TV videos are there, that he had the day of realization, and he went to Chamundi Hills in Mysore, and then he was meditating there, sitting there, and then suddenly one stroke of lightning came, one stroke of so many things happened, and then he received some knowledge, and from that day he became a yogi, and he started practicing his own yogic practices. And then he probably had a lot of sense control, so many things they would have done, obviously, otherwise they will not get that siddhis. And we have seen so many babas having so many magical powers, mystical powers, so they can pull a gold bangle or a gold necklace out of their mystical powers, and then befuddle the audience. We don't know. This so many people are there, and some people are hell bent in doing that, and then trying to acquire that mystical powers. Of course, it's not for going to be there for everyone. 1 in a million chance it will be there. And I had also seen some yogis and babas during this Kumbh Mela, that one person is holding his hand, and that hand, left hand, is tied to the pole, and for 12 years he has been holding his hand like that. Can you imagine? Like that. And somebody is standing on one leg, somebody is sitting in water. All these things we can see. So these are very, very tough processes. It's not for the ordinary people, but people are doing it. So this is one of the path. Then analytical study, which is Sankhya philosophy, which actually the Kapil Deva in the 3rd canto, the 25th chapter, Kapil Deva actually, the Lord himself took that Shakta, the avatar, as Kapil Deva, and then he came in the womb of Mother Devahuti, Kardama Muni, and he gave this Sankhya philosophy. So, of course, Prabhupada says that there was one more Kapil Deva who gave a wrong philosophy. So we should not depend on that. But Bhagavatam has given this Kapil Deva who gave the Sankhya philosophy. And that Sankhya philosophy is all about understanding the nature, the 24 or the 25 constituents which are there, the 5 sense organs, the 5 subtle organs, the 3 subtle organs, and then the working organs. Then you have the time. You have that the elements, Panchabhuta. So all these things are studied in detail, and how each one relationship is established is studied. And that is going to be the Sankhya philosophy, which actually Kapil Dev gave. And it also is a bhakti. It also has the bhakti aspects. And then ultimately devotional service, which Prabhupada says it is the tantram. Here the word used is the tantram. Tantram is actually not the black spiritual magic, but it is actually which the materialistic people are engaged and in sense gratification. But the tantram is of the devotion service, which is devoid of all these materialistic elements. So as the sloka shows, the yajna, sacrifices, then yoga, that is the mystic powers, naishkarmya, knowledge. There are other devotees who try to acquire knowledge, especially the Mayavadis, who want to study Vedas and try to understand God. And then Sankhya, it's analytical study. Then the Tantram. This Tantram is actually the Bhagavad Shastra, as Prabhupada says, loaded with all the regulative principles. So like that, we have to understand that ultimately Bhakti Yoga is the one which is going to take us forward. And this is the simplistic way of establishing love of Godhead. See, by doing all this mystic power, yoga, siddhis, all these things, sacrifices, are you going to get the love of Godhead is the question. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us that love of Godhead. Prema Pumarto Mahan. So to give that love of Godhead, how to attract Krishna's attention, how to attract Radharani's attention, how to attract devotees, various exalted acharyas' attention, and how to serve them. And that is all coming in this Bhakti Yoga, which is the one which we are supposed to practice. So Sankhya, as Prabhupada explains, one can take advantage of such regulative explanations of the path of devotional service and make progressive advancement in the devotional service of the Lord. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yamanichasmi tattataha. So bhakti, with bhakti you can get again bhakti. Like bhakti is a process and bhakti is the destination. Sankhya philosophy is the basic principle of acquiring knowledge, as will be explained by sage Maitreya. The Sankhya philosophy initiated by Kapil Dev, son of Devahati, is a real source of knowledge about supreme truth. Knowledge not based on the Sankhya philosophy is mental speculation and can yield no tangible profit. So like that, Prabhupada is telling that all these are waste or useless if you don't do bhakti. So that's why Bhagavad Gita in another shloka 8.28 also talks on the same lines. It says, Vedeshu yagneshu tapash chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chatyam. So it says very clearly, Vedeshu, by doing Veda practices, by learning Vedas, by performing the yajnas, so many austere sacrifices, by tapas, by doing meditation, or by dana, by doing alms or donations, and yat punya phala pradisham, whatever punya you are getting, atyeti tat sarvam. All these things what you get, this benefit will be surpassed. Atyeti tat sarvam. Yeah, what is that? Yogin param sthanam upaiti chadyam. If you are doing the bhakti yoga, if you are able to do the devotional service, this can surpass all the benefits what you are going to get from these practices, karma kanda or whatever it is you are doing. At the end, he reaches the supreme abode. So like this, it is very clear what is going to be, what is that we are supposed to do. And bhakti yoga is the topmost, as I told earlier. Yoginam api sarvesham. Amongst all the top yogis, bhakti yogi is the topmost. So Purandaradasa has given one very wonderful kirtan, and very simple kirtan, and he says how easy bhakti can be done to please Lord Krishna. So he says, Sulabha pujaya madi balavilladaru nalina nabhana pada nalina seva karante Sulabha pujaya madi balavilladaru. He's telling Sulabha puja, very simply you can do puja, aradhana to the Lord. Balavilladaru, those who are ashaktas, or those who are not having the power or the strength, the knowledge, or who are weak-hearted, anybody can do. Who somebody is crippled, somebody is poor, anybody can do this. Nalina nabhana pada, nalina seva karante. The only thing is you have to become a servant of that nalina nabha, the lotus eyes, unto him lotus feet. Unto him you become a sevaka and you serve. Now how he's telling in the next charanas, Irulu hachuva deepa ಹರಿಗೆ ನೀರಾಜನವು ಮರೆಯ ಮಾಡುವ ವಸ್ತ್ರ ಪರಮ ಮಡಿಯು ತಿರುಗಾಡಿ ದಣಿಯುವುದೇ ಹರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರದಕ್ಷಿಣೆಯು ಹೊರಳಿ ಮಲಗುವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಹರಿಗೆ ವಂದನೆಯು. So he's telling, irulu hachchuva deepa. The moment the sunlight comes, it is like offering a lamp, arti to the Lord. Just offer. Says Surya Bhagwan, you come, okay, you please do the arti, and just show that that you are doing attitude, that you are doing the arti to the Lord. That's it. And then Maraya Maduva Vastra Paramamadi. Whatever the cloth you are showing to the Lord, you are trying to wipe it, or you are trying to cover him, or after the bathing, that itself is very 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 sacred for him. He's enough. He's satisfied with that small cloth of loin cloth, or whatever you are going to give. That is enough for him. He's very very happy. Tirugadi daniyude, wherever you are going for your, maybe you're doing for your karmic work, you're going from one place to another place for your job, or for your, or a temple, or some trying to bring some articles for Lord's worship, or from preparing bhoga. So whatever you're doing, that walking and getting tired, that itself is like a pradikshina, parikrama to the Lord. So simple. And horali malagodalla. And okay, if you are taking rest, you are probably going from left side to the right side, and then you are rolling down on the cot or on the bed. Then that is like a like a obeisances to the Lord. It's a vandane to the Lord. And whatever you talk, let it be talking about Krishna. And if you have family, let all them be your parivara, all they're all and they're all staying in the Udupi Dham, and that itself is like a Vaikunta. Your neighbor will be some Bhagavata, like that. You assume, and then treat them, and then be in their good company, and just chant holy name and do some spiritual activity. You will be liberated. So like that, he gives wonderful simplistic way of understanding bhakti yoga. So that simple bhakti is, so we just have to apply ourselves and do this practices. And Rupa Goswami also has given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu very simple words. What he has mentioned, that sarvopadi vinirmaktam tad paratvena nirmalam. Then Rishikesha Devanam Bhaktir Jate. So that is also there. Very, very important that we come out of that, our materialistic designation. And with that, surrender unto the Lord. Material designations, desires, and with the mood to surrender to the Lord. Then you can come to that platform of Paratvena Nirmalam. You can be situated in that purified state of mind. And then you can Rishikena Sevanam. By utilizing your senses unto the Rishikesha, unto the Supreme Lord, one who is the controller of senses, Sevana, by doing the Seva, you can, that is called Bhakti. So it's very simplistically he has given that how you can achieve the Bhakti, how we can come to the platform of serving uncontaminated by this speculative knowledge or fruitive activity, karma kanda or jnana kanda or siddhis. None of this is required. Just come to the platform and do some seva, and that is the best bhakti, he says. So like this, the several instructions our acharyas have given and has asked us to do. And he is also further says, sevon mukhehi jihvado, that you can just by utilizing your tongue, by chanting the holy name, vibrating the tongue, by chanting the holy name, and by taking prasad. Just by doing that, you can get the best of, you can be in the topmost, you can execute topmost quality of bhakti. So like this, we have so many instructions by the acharyas, and Parampara has time and again, he says, because our dull senses are not going to capture, are not going to appreciate the spiritual nature, and we cannot get the taste to do more practices of bhakti, or we may not get the inclination to do spiritual practices. Very forcefully we are chanting, forcefully we are attending to classes. Forcefully, we are going to the temple because we don't have the taste. We are not developed that. So that's why he says, Ata Shri Krishna Namadi, Nabhaved Grahyam Indriya. Sevonmukhe hi jifado, swayameva spuratyadaha. So just by using your tongue, automatically, swayameva spuratyadaha, that spiritual, the awakening will come to you. Because our blunt senses are not able to understand Krishna and this Achintya Veda Tattvas. So just be in the association of devotees and chant the holy name and take prasad. You can fulfill your life's goal and ambition. So that's it. I just gave a overview of what different varieties of yogas or tantras, all these are there. And of course, in Tantra, when you talk of Tantra, in Kerala, actually that land is full of, the lot of people who do black magic, Tantras, and Bengal for that matter. I mean, Bengal, it's actually worse that they affect the devotees. They do all for their, materialistic benefits, and it's like a cheating propensity, and they cheat people by doing this black magic and all that, and they take the powers of that soul. Very, very sorry situation. But whereas in Kerala, they do have this, worship by the Lord, by tantras, by so many tantras and so many things they do. When I had gone to Sabarimala, there is one place somewhere nearby. It's actually a Ganesha temple or a Vishnu temple. I had gone there, and there is a priest. That priest, they will ask us to break the coconut. A coconut will be broken, and the kind of the edges, the coconut, the two pieces, the shells of the coconut give, they will give you astrology. They will give you some, Jyotisha. So like that, and people are crazy. They stand in a queue and listen to that astrology. And of course, many of my friends who are there, they were telling that whatever he says is happening. It is truth. It could be there. There could be some science behind it, but people are used to that. So this is actually a tantric method that he breaks the coconut and he tells you your history or your what is going to happen future. And many people go for inquiring from such people also. So it's a very crazy, mad world we are living in. Hare Krishna. So now we'll go to the 31st shloka. So devotee can read the shloka and the translation. Hare Krishna.
Anita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Okay.
Yes.
पाषण्डपतवैषम्यं प्रतिलोमनिवेशनं जीवस्य गतयो याश्च यावतीर्गुणकर्मजाः. Hare Krishna. Translation. Translation should I read, Mataji?
Yes, you can read the translation.
Yes,
But somebody can read.
Okay. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Please also describe the imperfections and contradictions of the faithless atheists, the situation of crossbreeding, the movements of the living entities in various species of life according to their particular modes of nature and work. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sudha Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhupada says Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The combination of living entities in different modes of material nature is called cross-breeding. The faithless atheists do not believe in the existence of God, and thus the paths of philosophy are contradictory. Atheistic philosophies never agree with one another. Different species of life are evidence of varieties of mixtures of the modes of material nature. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we are discussing about what kind of different people, the yogis and mystics are there, and some babas are there. Now this shloka is talking about that only. So he's asking for our knowledge. Maitra Vidura is asking that imperfections and contradictions of those faithless atheists. Like for example, so many Sadgurus Babas are there. If you ask them who is Krishna or what is bhakti, or what is the devotional service, they don't have an answer. They don't know who is God, who is supreme. But they talk all kind of a philosophy, their own understood, limited, tiny knowledge they have understood, and they talk of philosophy. But if you ask about who is the Supreme Lord, they cannot answer. What a simple answer, they don't know, but they talk all complex things. So these are the people who are faithless. And the whole population, many of the people are going to their ashrams, they are becoming their devotees. They also give diksha. So everybody is following that, unfortunately, because actually they are atheists, because they're not believing the existence of the Supreme Lord. They don't want to worship the personal features of the Lord. And they are continuing. It's a typical Kali Yuga environment. And that is how the crossbreeding is happening. Like what Prabhupada explains here, combination of living entities in different modes of material nature. That the person who is in an extreme passion is getting married with an extreme ignorance, or somebody who's in extreme or maybe in a minute tamoguna, maybe in some maximum passion. So like this, so many combinations are happening, and living entities because of their gunas, the 3 gunas, which is multiplied by another 3, which will give me 9, and this 9, another permutation and combination of this 9 into 9 will give you 81 different kinds of gunas, and people are today manipulating the whole world, exploiting the whole world. So this is called so he's asking, crossbreeding will happen. So he's predicting actually what is going to happen in future. He's predicting here, and he's asking by this crossbreeding, what are the effects of this. He wants to know, and actually he's giving us a lesson. Why he's asking, he's encouraging, he's actually educating us. The faithless atheists do not believe in the existence of the God, and thus their path of philosophy are contradictory. So they give their own philosophy. So they just keep telling, you do your job, you do your work, you be happy. Arey Baba, how materialistically, how you can be happy? Where is happiness? It's not something which can be purchased in the market, which is not something that you can get out of in this material world. Unless you are devoted, unless you are doing some service to the supreme person who is having this happiness, who is having this spiritual knowledge, how can you get? You cannot go and ask a beggar to give money. You'll be the fool number 1. You have to go and approach a rich person, somebody who's philanthropic, and ask him, please give me money. I need some help. Give me some Lakshmi. I want, if you ask a rich person, obviously he will give, because he's having that money. He is having some mood to give. So he will give. But if you go and ask a beggar or an ordinary person to give me money because you are in need, do you think you will get it? No, impossible. So these atheistic philosophies never agree with one another. Different species of life are evidence of varieties of mixtures of the modes of material nature. So the modes itself, sadasad yonishu janmasu. So as Bhagavad Gita says, the interaction of the different modes will actually give you the next life, whether it is a good soul or in a company of good association, or a bad soul in the association of bad people. So that's why we have to be very careful not to deal with these kinds of atheistic philosophy, and not to go behind them, and also warn the people who are trying to go in that path, and then trying to bring them back to Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. Yeah, we'll go to 32nd shloka. We are running out of time.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Dharmartha kama mokshanam nimittani avirodataha vartaya danda nitescha shrutasya cha vidim pratak. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. You may also describe the non-contradictory causes of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification and salvation, and also the different means of livelihood and different processes of law and order as mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Krishna. So there is no purport. We'll go to the next shloka, 33.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu may Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna. Yes,
with the
Prabhuji.
shloka and the translation.
Yes,
Somebody
Prabhuji.
can read the purport, yeah.
Shraddha yasya cha vidhim brahman pitrinam sargamevacha graha nakshatra taranam kalavayava samsthitim. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please also explain the regulations for offering respects to the forefathers, the creation of the Pitraloka, the time schedule in the planets, stars, and luminaries, and their respective situation.
Yeah, Haribol.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The time durations of day and night, as well as months and years, are different in the different planets, stars, and luminaries. The higher planets, like the moon and Venus, have time measurements different from those of the Earth. It is said that 6 months of this planet Earth equal 1 day of the higher planets. In the Bhagavad Gita, the duration of 1 day in Brahmaloka is measured to be 1,000 times the 4 yugas, or 43 lakh years multiplied by 1,000. And the month and year in Brahmaloka are calculated in that measure. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, as we see, the previous shloka was talking about the non-contradictory causes of religion, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So, he's asking further, like that there is no, that means there is a very, very, very solid meaning or solid logic behind this dharma, artha, kama, moksha, why we have to do and how much we have to do. So, what is the cause of this and what is the effect of it? So, you want to understand, and the livelihood, different livelihoods why people take, and how the law and order is mentioned in the revealed scripture, like Manusmriti. Manusmriti talks of what is going to be how the governance is there, how the law and order will be there. So everything is there as per the Shastra. So he wants to understand each one of these, and slowly over a period of time, we will also get the answers from Maitreya Muni in different in different sections. We might get these answers. And now in this shloka, 33rd shloka, what is that? What is that regulation, or what is that vidhi I have to follow for offering respects to the forefathers? The Shraddha ceremony, how I have to do? What is the methodology? How often we should give, and what is the mood in which we should do? All these things he's asking. Creation of Pitraloka, why it is there, and the time schedule in the planets, like I discussed before. The different planets has got different vegetation, different time period, gravitational force. Like even here in the Bhuloka, we have the Akarshan, the gravitational force is there, right? So whatever put on the in the top, whatever is thrown up will come down. But of course, at a specific speed. But maybe in a moon, it is said it is 1/10 the gravitational force. That means if it takes 1 minute for an item to fall down from in Earth, it will take 10 minutes because the gravitation power is less. So it is actually floating. A lot of things are floating there. So like that, each and every star planet have their own respective atmosphere, temperature, vegetation, or it could be rotational force, gravitational force. All these things are there. So I think slowly we'll come to know about all these things. And the time factor is mentioned very clearly in the next second. I think 10th chapter talks about the time. The whole chapter is meant for time, which is mentioned in Bhagavatam. So we can understand all this, the science today, what scientists are calling this science, that science is already given, knowledge is already given by our Shastras. So Prabhupada here tells that time duration of day and night, as well as month and years, are different in different planets, stars and luminaries. The higher planets like Moon and Venus have different time measurements from those of Earth. So 6 months in Earth equals to 1 day in a higher planet. So this is the term, and it's all very inconceivable for us. We cannot understand, because why it is 1 day 24 hours here in Earth is because of the sun's movement. The sun takes that time to go from one position to another position, and that is how we get the day and night. So like that. So if in a different planet, if it is a different sun and it's a different duration, then obviously you will have a longer or a shorter night and day. So it's all very relative relative subject matter. And in Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned how in Brahmaloka, that 1 day of Brahma is mentioned, is actually going to be 4.3 billion years. That is 4.3 million years. That is, if you take the Satyuga, the Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga, combine all the 4 yugas duration. Like Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. Dwapar Yuga is 8,64,000 years. And Treta Yuga is 12,96 years. 64, yeah, 96. And then if you take Satyuga, it is 16 lakh or 17,28,000 years. So like this, if you combine all this, 17 plus 12 or 13, 30, 30 plus 8, 38, 38 and a half plus 4 and a half, it will come to 4.3, 43 lakhs totally. So this is called one Divya Yuga. And 1,000 times of this, in which in this 1,000 times, there is 71 Manus will come. So this forms 4.3 billion years. So this is called one day of Brahma. And the same amount of years is there for the night. So 4.32 into 4.32, it will be billion years, will be 8.64 billion years is actually one day of Brahma. So like that, the life of Brahma for one day. If you multiply that by 360 days in a year and 100 years he's going to live, Brahma, it actually comes to 311 trillion 60 billion years. That is the life of Brahma. So it's very, very complicated subject matter. Of course, I'm just sharing it for knowledge purpose. So you can just imagine how tiny, how puny we individual living entities are. For us, this is just 100 years, that's all our lifetime. But whereas Brahma's lifetime is 311 trillion years. Haribol. Yeah. So, and now actually this month, now this 2 weeks, it's called the Pitru Paksha. So most of the devotees, especially people in the Brahminical culture, they all offer the Pindadan to their forefathers. Now the best part is, if suppose you have missed the suppose the tithi or the passing away was on a certain date, say it was in January, but you could not do the Shraddha. Every year, at least once, you have to feed the soul. By doing the Shraddha, the Pindadan you have to do, so that the soul gets, the departed soul gets the food and they can sustain. But if you have missed it, you cannot be able to do it. Then this is the time, in this 15 days, especially after the Ganesha Habba, this is the Bhadrapada Masa, the second half of Bhadrapada Masa, the Krishna Paksha, which is there, this is called the Pakshamasa. So in this Pakshamasa, all the forefathers are actually eager. They are waiting that, my progeny or my children or grandchildren, whoever it is, are trying to feed me. They are offering the Pindadan. So they are waiting. If they don't get the food, the oblations, then they will suffer. So this is what we have to understand. And that is why this Pinda Pradhana is very important. Even if we are not personally able to do it, we can at least give it to a temple or a Vedic temple, or some Brahmanas Acharyas can take your position and they can do it on your behalf. So at least that can be done. And what to speak of, on this Vedic platform offering Pindadan, but the best way of serving a soul and giving them food, prasadam, is that the Vaishnava way of our offering, which we follow in our ISKCON, that we call all the devotees Vaishnavas and feed them that this is the Shraddha ceremony of such and such a person. So you please chant the holy name. You please do the kirtan, and then for the benefit of the departed soul. So that way, if we offer all our services to please that departed soul, and then we feed the Vaishnavas, and if the Vaishnavas are pleased, and if they pray to Krishna that please deliver this soul, then Krishna will definitely hear their prayers and he will deliver that soul. He will give them bhakti in this life or in the next life, or whatever it is, according to the terms and conditions that can be given. So that possibility is there. That's much powerful Vaishnava's prayers are. So the best way, what we can do is do the Harinam Sankirtan for the departed soul, for the benefit of the departed soul. And, day in and day out, you can pray to Krishna that you please deliver, and give him bhakti. And Krishna will definitely, honor that. He will definitely listen to your prayers. So these are the various aspects I thought I should tell about in today's shlokas. And everything is educative for us. Everything is a learning for us, and it actually gives a real dimension. What is that we are supposed to do in bhakti? How we can structure our life? How we can we can, with the limited resources, with the limited time, how we can modify our life, how we can make sure that all these elements can be brought into the life, and how we can schedule our activities in such a way that Vaishnavas are pleased, Krishna is pleased, the temple authorities are pleased, serve in a temple and serve the devotees, and that way we can actually really fulfill the our goal of life. It's all an effort. We just make an effort. We make a plan in such a way that devotees are pleased, Krishna is pleased. Hare Krishna. That is the goal of life. That's what Prabhupada has told. And if you do all these things, minimal practices, over a period of time, definitely Krishna will listen and Krishna will guarantee. Prabhupada has told us, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And the best is that you chant Hare Krishna, be in a spiritual association, and go back to Godhead. Which Acharya has given this instruction? None of the Acharyas were able to give, but Prabhupada gave that instruction. Prabhupada gave that very simple philosophy. It's a very simple instruction. So devotees should take advantage of it. Hare Krishna. So with this, I will end today's session. If anyone has any realization, any questions, comments, they can take it up. Hari Bol.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Yeah, before we'll go to the question answer session, I would like to announce that tomorrow we have this only question answer session with His Grace Advait Chandra Prabhu and Her Grace Kalasudha Mataji. So okay. I hope that all of you have your questions, you have it and you noted it down, so that tomorrow at 9:30 up till 10:30 or maybe 10 or 15 minutes more, we will have dedicated question and answer session. So we have received some of the questions in a form which we have floated few days back, and some of you can ask even the questions instantly also in the session. So first we will go ahead with the questions which we have received earlier, and then after we will give chance to the devotees to ask their questions at the session. So, and please join 5 minutes before, because Mataji and Prabhuji, they join always 5 minutes or 10 minutes before the session. So Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Rajya Lakshmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, what exactly do you mean by Sankhya philosophy?
Hari Bol, you're asking me or Mataji?
Sorry, Prabhuji, it's for you. Sorry, Prabhuji, my bad.
Okay. See, Sankhya philosophy is all talking about the analytical study of this entire creation. See, for example, we see a plant. Now they start looking at it. Okay, how the plant has come? What all the the elements are there in the plant? How it is growing? What is there in that plant? How the leaf is formed, or how the flowers are coming, or how the fruits are bearing? How a neem plant is there which is so bitter, whereas a mango tree is there which is so juicy and so sweet. So like this, it's just analytical study of these things which are in nature. I'm just trying to give an example and trying to understand the superiority of the Lord or the potency of the Lord. So like the land is the same, the soil is the same, but what is the distinction? What is the differentiation? Is the seed, right? So that seed, if it's a tamarind seed, will give you tamarind tree, right? So if it is a sandalwood tree, we'll give you sandalwood. So like this, there is a lot of analysis that is being done, but it basically works on this 24 or 25 elements, which ultimately culminates into the total consciousness of what is available in the material world. Like I told, 5 working organs, 5 subtle organs, 5 elements, Panchatattva, and then the Panchendriya, then Gnanendriya, and you have the Sukshma Indriya, which is the mind, intelligence, false ego, then the consciousness, and all with a combination of the time factor. So all these things are analyzed in deep, and then they come with a solution. So that's what Kapil Dev has done it. Hare Krishna.
Sunita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Actually, I
Yeah.
just wanted to thank you for the information you gave about this Pitru Paksha, Prabhuji, because I
Yes.
have never missed a single day doing Shraddha for my father. It's been 18 years, but this time it falls on 6th, and I had booked the tickets for Mangalore to see Guru Maharaj, to take darshan of Guru Maharaj. But
Yes.
unfortunately, this time it falls on 6th only. So when
Okay.
my mother called me and told about this thing, Shraddha and all, I was worried, and I just went to Lord and asked what to do now. So he gave me answers through you, Prabhuji. So the Pitru
Haribol.
Paksha.
Just
So he
host
gave me
it.
the answer through you, and
Yeah.
I'm so happy because I was confused
Yeah.
what to do this time, because
Yeah.
I'm not able to cancel the ticket because I
Correct.
desperately want to see Guru Maharaj. And he gave the answer through you, Prabhuji. So Pitru
Yeah,
Paksha
yeah.
is
So
so I can do.
host a feast in our ISKCON temple, and let all the devotees do the kirtan. Let them pray and satisfy the soul. That is the
Okay.
best, the best offering that you can do to please your departed souls, and definitely they'll get the benefit, Mataji. Definitely.
Okay.
Haribol.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Haribol.
Right, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Dandavat
Haribol.
Pranams.
None
Prabhuji, we
problem.
did it today only, Prabhuji. As per Brahmanical, this one, we do Hiranya Shraddham, na, Prabhuji. So is it
Okay.
not the same as Vaishnava culture is what I wanted to understand, Prabhuji? Like for my father-in-law, we do it. We did the
Yeah.
yearly one also. It was last month in September. And
Yeah.
today we did it because we do it as an additional thing because it is Mahalaya Paksham, na, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes.
So we had called 5 Brahmins and we did it. So how is it different from Vaishnava, this one, Prabhuji?
Yeah, actually, it doesn't. If you go by the essence of it, or
Yes,
what is the purpose of it, it is actually the same. Even in
Yes,
the Vedic Brahmanas, when they do it,
Yes.
what they're inviting is they're inviting a Brahmana, they're feeding him nicely with all Panchapaksha Paramanna, and then they're telling you, please pray for the departed soul. Okay?
Yes.
And then only thing is that in a Vedic Shastra, it is going to be the departed soul, his father, and the grandfather. All the 3
His father.
souls are called. If it is
Yes,
a
yes.
mother or a lady, her mother, her mother's mother. So like that, it's a Pinda Pradhana. That Pinda Pradhana is
Yes.
there. And ultimately, you are also going to feed, like your own family members or who are invited. They are given that. And that Brahmana is considered as a emissary of Vishnu. He's like a Vishnu
Yes.
Dut. He has come, he's
Yes.
honoring, and he's going to pray for the departed soul. So like this,
Yes.
it's the mood is the same, Mataji. The mood is the same,
Yes,
the
yes.
purpose is the same. It's only thing is you have a lot of, the activities. It's a typical Vedic activity where you use till, the sesame seed or the rice,
Yes,
so many things. So like this, there are so many articles. And then they transfer the soul. So many things are there,
Yes,
which is actually a typical Vedic thing. For a layman, for us, it is very difficult to understand. But whereas to be on the more simplistic side and to fulfill the the purpose of feeding or the purpose of feeding the departed soul, the best thing is doing the Hari Kirtan and please the Vaishnavas, and with the prayers, with lots of prayers. Whereas, see, in this karmic activity, it's a typical karmic karmakandic activity. If you're doing through a Vedic process, maybe the persons who have come or the people who have invited may not be having that mood. I mean, they might do some gossiping, or they may not really understand the process. Oh, you have been called them, they will come and then they'll take prasad and go. So many things are there. We don't know what is their mood or purpose or like that. But whereas when a devotee and when we're in a congregation and the whole the purpose of doing this is to deliver the soul. So it's a congregational effect. So collective effect is more impactful and it's more directly it is going to serve and please that departed soul. That is the thing.
What I observed is, Prabhuji, even during this Vedic, this one, it's some of the mantras are the same, like Namo Brahmana Devaya, Go Brahmanitaya, Jagaditaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namah. They also said so many slokas are the same. So that's why I was inquisitive and asked you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Correct.
Yeah,
that is right. Yeah, Haribol.
Radhika Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Prabhu, just a very quick doubt on the Tantra. We are talking about black magic and all that, Prabhu. Is it still prevalent in terms of knowledge? Because we are studying that the Brahmins who used to convert the Narabali, or I mean the animal, they are not talented still. So are the black magic team still talented to perform all this, and is it still effective?
The tantra, I mean to
Hare
say
Krishna.
converting, right, from the soul to one body to another body, right? Is that what is supposed to?
Whatever, Prabhu, whatever black magic. Now, I don't know exactly what they do in black magic.
See, black
do they
magic,
call the
they are
black
trying
body
to,
inside, or do they curse the person?
That's what. See, actually, tantric way of worshipping is also there. It's prescribed in the shastras. But for that, you should be highly, pure, and your intention should be clear. So all these things are very important, and the utterance of the mantras, all these things, you should be. But today, where do you find? Prabhupada has mentioned, about 50 years back only, Prabhupada mentioned that these kinds of the brahmanas who can utter mantras and who can deliver by doing this cow sacrifice or a ashwa sacrifice, and then converting that soul, that body, to a higher body of a human is unheard. Whereas the Vedas mention that, Vedas talk about this, that you can give a higher body to that soul by uttering the mantras, and we know that Agnihotris, those days the people were called Agnihotris. Even today that surname is there. The Agnihotris, just by reciting the mantras, they used to kindle fire, which is used for the sacrifice. By just uttering the mantras and by rubbing the wood, they were used to bring the fire out. So like that. But today, we are not so pure. Our mantras are not pure. Our intentions are not pure. We are all money-minded. Even the so-called priestly class also, they are taking remuneration. They're doing it for their livelihood. So where the purity can come? How they can deliver a soul? It's near to impossible. But
so basically,
again,
black magic is to sorry, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So is it to liberate a soul, sir, Prabhu? Because black magic, I thought, is to do destruction to someone. That was my understanding.
Actually, that's what the black magic is more for a defeating purposes, or somebody to exploit somebody. Some weak heart is there, some weak person is there, so they do some black magic, do some magic. And you have heard about this what you call hypnotism. Hypnotism is all that. They just try to cheat. Today it's but the same hypnotism, if it is used effective way, they can cure diseases. It's there. It is there in the medicine of the Shastra. But who is doing that? Who is using that? So most people are using it for malpractices, and people are suffering. But tantric way of worshipping is there. In Kerala temples, they do the tantric way of worshipping, and it is all for well-being of the society, well-being of the devotees. Yeah, it is there.
Still prevalent, but not.
Yes, it is still prevalent. Yeah, of course, a very, very minuscule level. But Prabhupada in this verse for the Tantram, the Prabhupada explained it, and he's mentioned it as Bhakti Yoga, the devotional service. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Madhuri. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I think very much in line with the question with Radhika Mataji. So it's like a knife. If it is with the with the long or or so I think these black magic is the similar thing, yeah. Like there are people who keep Shri Yantra at home. So I think that is also a black magic thing, right?
No, Shri Yantra, I don't think so. Shri Yantra is more of a Lakshmi to invite wealth. But there are other things, Mataji. There are so many things. I mean, if you go to Bengal, I've heard that there are so many practices people do, and gullible people are falling prey to it, and they control the soul, in fact.
So basically, Prabhuji, isn't it? It can be used for the living of the society and the people also.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Sorry, Prabhu, I'm back. But the soul control can be done only by Krishna, no, Prabhu?
That's what. No, like of course, it is like the pichachas which are there. They have they have like they have some link connection with these pishachas and the bhutas and all, and they can invoke that bhutas into a existing living person, some weak-hearted person or somebody who is not clean, So they do all this, all these, black magic things. They're doing it, which is actually very, very, unfortunate. And they're trying to extract people out of this.
So they control the mind and the body.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the soul is captured.
Oh, the soul really is captured. I thought they can control only the body and the mind.
No, the departed, some pishacha or a bhuta is brought into this life, the living person, and this atma is subdued by that overpowered. That's what we call the devils or the bhuta and all the bhuta preta pishacha. It is that only. People are still doing it.
Got it. And if we are anyway praying Krishna, the soul is protected by Krishna and they won't be able to come.
Exactly. So how, and it has, I've seen some cases that when the soul is, the weak soul is attacked by these pishachas and pretas, then even if that soul, that the person want to do bhakti, it starts rejecting, because this, the soul which has captivated is actually rejecting it. And you cannot stop that, because it's in a stronger position than the atma, and the pishachas will control you, and they will subdue all that. But despite all this, there are so many instances where Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in the 1850s, when he had gone to Champaran in Orissa, there was one tree when a Brahma Rakshasa was there living in a tree, in a banyan tree. And it was causing a lot of trouble to the people, the villagers. And it's a real life incident. And it was, throwing stones or mud or garbage, so many things. And it was wherever people used to do some puja, it was going to try and attack. And all nonsense was happening in that village. People were scared in that village. People were getting diseases. They could not be cured. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur heard about it. Immediately he took Bhagavatam, said all the scriptures, and he recited continuously for a month or so. And that pishacha was, it was burnt to death. And people were liberated. And similarly, Prabhupada did the same thing in London. In London, when they wanted to go and occupy a place for a temple or a preaching center, there also it was haunted by the ghosts. And Prabhupada, people were scared when people were entering inside that place. They were hit with stools or a table or a fan, something like that. The pishacha was behaving very rudely. And they were all scared. But Prabhupada went with Kartal and he told Mridangam, bring all the Kartal, bring all the Mridangam, and bring all the scriptures. And he did continuously Kirtan in that area, 3 or 4 day in and day out, 24-hour Kirtan kind of a thing. And all the bad elements, the pishachas, everybody, had to vanish. They just ran up. And then they established a preaching center there. It's all live examples.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thanks so much for this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I just want to add one thing, because I myself was a victim for this black magic, Prabhuji, because I belong to Kerala. And due to
so
our
Mataji will be having a lot of experience.
Yeah, we approached a person. We didn't know that he was practicing occult practices. We didn't know, and we gave our hair, sand, our nail. He cut all these things from her this thing, and he cut our cloth piece. Everything we gave, hair and all we gave. We didn't know, and he had a occult practice on us, and I suffered a lot for that black magic. And there were 2 souls in me. I was possessed by 2 souls. And then in Bangalore, my kids were suffering a lot, and my husband, my family, whole family, because I changed, my complete whole personality was changed. And then my family approached a person, exorcist in Bangalore, and then he was able to remove that evil spirits from me. And now I'm able to continue my bhakti, Prabhuji. I had a very bad paranormal. Yes, Prabhuji. I had a very bad experience.
Really fortunate, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
That, you got relieved with all these things.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Just it's our utter faith. That's why we have to be very careful, that as long as we stick to
he
spiritual
poisoned
practice.
Prabhuji. He invited us for a lunch, and he poisoned my food. I didn't know that. He poisoned my food.
My God.
Padma Mataji?
Hare
Last
Krishna,
question, then
Prabhuji.
we will end the session.
Yes, a very short question. I just want to ask Prabhuji. If we are doing this Pindadan, no, for our ancestors, but then after doing it for years, what I heard, if you Gaya and offer Pinda there, because Vishnu's feet are there. If you do Pinda there, annual lot of people are there, then you don't have to continue again. Is it true, Prabhuji? Just want to clarify.
That's what I mean. Most of the acharyas also have said about that, and offering Pinda Pradhan in Gaya is very good. Like Matru Gaya is there for Mataji's, if you're departed soul. And then there are some kshetras which are there like this, where you have to offer. Of course, it is there. It is once you offer, it will be delivered and all that. But again, that people have difference of opinions on this subject matter also, because ultimately it is your connection, it is your link or your relationship with the departed soul. How much of gratitude you can you repay it? It's not possible. It's not possible to repay the gratitude. So that's the best part is pray for them. That's it. Pray for them. Pray for their well-being. Let them do bhakti, Krishna bhakti. Yeah, let them get the opportunity to get Krishna bhakti, and let them liberate themselves. That is the best prayer that we can give, because we know
chant,
that
chant one round also, Prabhuji, for them.
Mataji?
We can chant also one round.
Yeah, of course. All this we have to do. Like in one of the classes earlier, I had told that the Shastra says Putra, where Pu is the hellish planet, and the sun can relive. But I heard recently from one another Maharaj that Putri is also there. Putri is also coming from the same. Even the daughters also can do on prayers on behalf of the departed soul, and they can also liberate. They can also contribute for his spiritual success. So it's both can. Anybody who's linked.
Son or daughter, anyone can.
Yeah, they can do in their own way. And the spiritual practice is ultimately the highest, Mataji.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for this elaborated question and answer session. Nice answers. Thank you so much. So we'll end the session here, Prabhu. Yeah. Vancha kalpatarubhischa kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnav ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna to all the devotees. I'll end the session.
Thank you. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.